So we'll quickly revise what we did in yesterday's class. So you might be remembering we were talking about the defects, correct? No? Imperfection in the solid. And then I had told you like we don't have any ideal crystal existing. Okay, whenever you prepare a crystal, okay, compared to the ideal arrangement, you will find some or the other deviation which is taking place. Either you will find something has come into that particular crystal lattice, or you will find that the crystal lattice, okay, has lost some of their atoms or molecules. Okay, so that deviation what you are able to see, that itself is called as defects. Okay, that is defects, or it is also called as imperfection. Comparing to the ideal arrangement, you find that there is some deviation which has taken place. Okay, and then I told you these defects are further classified into two. We have them as point defects and then line defect. So point defect means if you find any deviation which is happening at a point, at a lattice point, like at one point some atom has come, or at one point some atom has left the lattice, okay, then that will be point defect. Line defect means if entire row, okay, in the entire row you can see here, I had labeled also 1, 2, 3, and then fourth one. Okay, if you see the fourth row, you can see one whole row that atoms have gone missing. Okay, so in the whole row, if they go missing, then that will be called as line defects. Okay, yeah, very good. So now you know that you have for your syllabus only point defects to study, and that's further classified. Okay, these defects are further classified into impurity defect, then we have stoichiometric defect, and then non-stoichiometric defect. Okay, and this is further classified. Stoichiometric, we have further classification into Schottky defect and Frenkel defect. These are basically shown in ionic solids. Okay, Schottky and Frenkel, you will see them in ionic solid, whereas vacancy and interstitial defect, you will find them in non-ionic solids. Okay, these will be seen in them. And then we have non-stoichiometric that we are yet to discuss. Okay, so let's see what was stoichiometric defect. Stoichiometric, I told you, stoichiometric compounds are those compound where your cation and the anion ratio, when you find out the ratio of this cation and anion, that ratio will be similar to the actual ratio of the chemical formula, okay, which is indicated by the chemical formula. Like I gave you example also. In case if I give you NaCl, sodium chloride, if you find out by their chemical formula what is their cation and anion ratio, cation is 1, okay, so 1 cation and 1 anion is present, that is their actual ratio. Okay, so after the defect is being found out also, then you measure how many cations are there and how many anions are there. If you find for one cation there is one anion present, then that means the ratio is correct. No, stoichiometric ratio is correct. For one cation, we are still having one anion present. There is no change in their ratio. Then that defect will be called as stoichiometric defect. Okay. So if one cation has left, that means one anion also has left. Okay. Without changing the ratio of that particular crystal. Okay. That will come under stoichiometric defect. So then I told you, we discussed about the stoichiometric. First, we discussed about non-ionic solid, which were showing two kind of defects. One is vacancy and the other one is interstitial defect. So you saw in vacancy, as the name goes, vacancy defect means when you compare with the perfect crystal, you have all the atoms present in the particular crystal lattice. But when you talk about vacancy defect, at one point you find that, yeah, there is a vacant position. Okay, so vacancy has been created, vacant atoms, there is no atom in that particular place. Okay, so that defect will be called as vacancy defect. Due to this defect, what was happening, you saw that if one atom goes out from the crystal lattice, the density of that particular crystal will decrease because one atom has gone out, so mass has become less in the crystal. If the mass has become less, density also will become less. Okay, and this defect, I told you, it's also called as thermodynamic defect. Okay, why? Because when you heat this crystal, that time they will take certain amount of energy and move out from the crystal lattice. Okay, so this defect was also named as thermodynamic defect. Okay, then we saw interstitial defect. Second one, interstitial was first. Interstitial means what? The space which you find between the atoms or the molecules. Okay, the vacant place which is available. So when you have now a bigger atom, and then suppose if you combine with the smaller atoms, okay, then those smaller atoms can come and occupy these spaces. Okay, it usually happens when the alloy formations are done. Okay, so those the main ones will have a larger atom, and in between them there will be a space, so the smaller atoms can go and get trapped in between that. Okay, so they will get trapped in this particular site, which is called as interstitial site. Okay, so that defect will be called as interstitial defect. Now what happens to the density? You can understand that when new atoms have come, automatically new mass have been added to the crystal. Okay, so when mass has increased, density of that particular crystal also will increase. Okay, so you find, yeah, there is increase in the density when you talk about interstitial defect. Okay, so that was all about interstitial. Then we have seen for ionic solids, two defects were there. One is Schottky defect. First one is Schottky defect. What was exactly Schottky defect? Schottky defect is usually seen in a crystal which is having the cation and anion almost having a comparable size. Okay, if the cation and the anion, both of them are having almost the same size, then this defect will be shown in them. And what was seen in this defect? You can understand here, the picture is clearly showing you that if one anion has gone missing, okay, then you can see another cation also has gone missing over here. So in this defect, you find that there is equal number of cation and anion has gone missing from their lattice site. Okay, so then that defect comes under Schottky defect. Then what happens to the density? If both the ions have gone missing, their mass will become less. Correct? No, the whole crystal's mass will become less. So density is found to decrease. Okay, so in this particular Schottky defect, you will find that density decreases and usually seen in the cation and anion which is having almost same size. So I had given you example NaCl, KCl, cesium chloride. Okay, those compounds will show Schottky defect. Then next one was Frenkel defect. Frenkel defect here, the speciality of this defect is usually it is seen where the cation size is smaller and your anion size is larger. Okay, so if that happens, then if larger anions are sitting, okay, then you will see lot of space will be created in between. Okay, in between lot of space will be there. Okay, so that space, no, actually more, it is very large for that cation. Okay, and then what they do is they will go and sit in that in between space. Interstitial site is there, no, so they move themselves into that particular place. Okay, interstitial site. So if this cation, due to their small size, if they start moving towards the interstitial site, then that defect will be called as Frenkel defect. Okay, so they are just moving from their original place, they are going and sitting into the interstitial site. And then density, if you are talking about, because no one is going out of the crystal, they are just rearranging themselves in the same place itself. Okay, so then density will not be affected. So you can see here density remains same. Correct, very good. Okay, and this defect also called as dislocation defect because they are dislocating from their place. I believe it was clear for everybody. An example you can take AgCl, AgBr, AgI and then zinc sulfide. Okay. Now here this AgBr, I told you, you can write down this as a note. Okay. This AgBr is one such compound which shows both the defect. Okay. This is an exceptional case. Correct. AgBr, that's because of their radius ratio. AgBr shows both the defect. Okay. Both defects. Okay, this you can write it down below. Yes, students. So we had completed till here. Yesterday, I have completed till here. I just revised it. So it becomes easier then. Okay, now we can write down actually when they ask you in exam, no, they will ask you as a difference. Give the difference between Schottky defect and Frenkel defect. Then how many points will you write down and what and all you are going to write. So for first one, when they are asking you for the Schottky defect, first point what you can say, you can talk about the definition. Okay, what does Schottky defect means? Schottky defect means there is missing of both. Correct, no? There is missing of both cation and anion from the crystal lattice. From the crystal lattice. Okay, so there is missing of both cation and anion from the crystal lattice. And Frenkel defect is, you can see that there is just dislocation of the cation from its normal side to the interstitial side. Okay, so they are just moving. So there is dislocation here. In this case, there is dislocation of cation from its normal side to interstitial site. Okay, this was the first point. Second point, now you all tell me. First point, you can write the definition. Okay, copy the same thing. I just wrote it here now. You can copy the same thing. Second point, what will you tell? You can talk about the density, correct? Yes. Very good. Correct. You can talk about the density. So what will you say for Schottky defect? In the Schottky defect, you can say that density here, in this case, density decreases. And in this case, Frenkel defect, density remains same. Okay. Density remains same. Then next point, third point. Yeah, you can talk about the size of the cation and anion. Very good. Okay, so this is found in the ionic solid having similar size. Okay, so this is found in ionic solids having similar size of cation and anion. Cation and anion. Okay, and this one, this will be shown by the ionic solid in which there is large difference in the size of the ion. Okay, so here this is found in ionic solid having large difference. Large difference in the size of the ions. Okay, and then at last you give the example. Okay, here you can just write the example. For Schottky defect, you can write NaCl, NaBr, KCl. And for Frenkel defect, you can write example AgCl, AgBr, etc. And you can mark this as an important difference also, because it could be asked in your exam. Okay, most of the time the difference is what they ask, from this chapter. Either they will ask you about amorphous and crystalline solid, or they can ask you about Schottky defect and Frenkel defect. Yes, we'll go for next now. See, the next defect what you have, no, the second category is impurity defect. So now impurity means what? If you have something which is not of the same kind. Okay, impurity means if now I have only rice present, then only rice particles, grains will be there. If you put something else with that, okay, now if a little amount of wheat is being added, wheat grains are added, that means it will be called as impurity. Okay, so if you have some other kind present along with this, then it is called as impurity. So now here, when this sodium chloride crystals are prepared, no, so like consider the crystallization of molten NaCl. So now here I've taken the crystal of NaCl. This is how they will crystallize out. Okay, Na and then Cl, then NaCl, because opposite charges will attract. So opposite ions you can see one after the other. So when the sodium chloride, molten, I'm talking about molten sodium chloride. Okay, that means sodium chloride in their liquid state. Molten NaCl, when they are crystallized, suppose if there is some impurities present, like if there is some amount of strontium chloride, okay, traces of strontium chloride, if they are present as impurity, okay, so then that time what will happen is, now strontium over here is the cation, okay, chlorine is the anion part. Like in the sodium chloride, we have sodium as the cation and chlorine as the anion. So during the crystallization part, okay, if instead of one sodium, okay, if one strontium goes and gets occupied, okay, then what will happen to this particular crystal? So first let us understand how much is the charge. Okay, charge of one strontium is Sr2 plus. They come in second group. Okay, they are group 2 alkaline earth metals they are. So strontium is Sr2 plus. So if I have one strontium, that will be equivalent to how many sodium ions? One Sr2 plus will be making how many sodium? Like charge wise, I'm asking you charge wise. If I have one strontium ion, then how many sodium ion I should take so that I equalize their charges? One Sr2 plus will make how many sodium ions is my question. To equalize their charge, how many sodium ion I should take? Yes, very good. Correct, no? 2 sodium ion, because you know one sodium ion carries one charge. 1 plus is the charge. Okay. So, okay, one sodium ion carries one charge. So if I take 2 now, 1 plus, 1 more plus will give you 2 plus. So that means I should take 2 Na plus. Correct, no? So one strontium ion will be equal to 2 Na plus ion. Okay, so now during the crystallization process, okay, if there is certain amount of strontium being present, then they will go and occupy this cation site. Okay, so they will go and sit in this sodium place. And if they go and sit in one sodium place, okay, what will happen is, now see, two sodium sites. We said 2 Na plus ion is equal to 1 strontium ion. So that means this 2 sodium ion site is there, no? One site will be occupied, okay? Understand here, one site will be occupied by strontium ion, okay? And the another site is there, no? The another site will remain vacant, like this. See here, I have shown on this side. So now over here, can you see this? I have removed this one sodium ion and one strontium ion has come and sat over here. Okay. So if one strontium ion comes and sits, one of the site is there, no, that will remain vacant. Because we know one strontium ion charge becomes equal to 2 sodium ion. So if one strontium ion comes inside, it will remove 2 sodium outside. Okay. So it will remove 2 of them out. And one of it will be occupied by the strontium. And the another one is there, no, that will remain as a void. Okay. This will remain as a void. First one will be occupied by strontium. Second one will be remaining as a void place. So you can see here a void has been created. Okay. So this creates a cationic vacancy. Here a cationic vacancy can be created, and the number of these cationic vacancies are there. No, I'll circle it here. So number of these cationic vacancy produced will be equal to how many strontium ion you have added. See, now we added one strontium ion. That time we got one void. So if you add 2 Sr2 plus ion, okay, then how many sodium ions will go out? 4 Na plus will go out. Okay, imagine if 2 strontium has come inside the crystal. If 2 strontium comes, then 4 Na plus will go out. In that, 2 Na plus places will be occupied by strontium ion, correct? And then 2 places are there, no, that will remain as a void. Okay, so that's what I said. The number of cationic vacancies which are created, that will be equal to the number of strontium ion which we have added. Okay, is this clear? This part is clear to everybody? Yes, so that's all about impurity defect. Now I'll go for the next one. This is all the detail. Okay, there are a few more examples: cadmium chloride and AgCl. Okay, now let me go for non-stoichiometric defect. So your non-stoichiometric defect will be where when you take this cation and anion ratio. Okay, so that ratio finally when you find out from the defected crystal lattice, that will not be equal to, okay, it will not be equal to the ratio which you have got from the indicated chemical formula. Okay, so that will not be equal, not like the stoichiometric ones which I told you. Here you will not get the exact ratio. Okay, like if I have to give you an example, let me take FeO as the example. Okay, iron oxide I'm taking, ferrous oxide it is, because Fe over here is in +2 state and oxygen is in -2 state. Okay, so this is the formation of FeO. So what has been observed is, normally when you prepare iron oxide, it is difficult to get them in this ratio, okay, Fe and then O ratio. So what they have found is the ratio of iron and oxygen, okay, it is 1:1 ratio, no, here. But when the crystals were actually prepared of FeO, they got iron in this form. See, iron came out as 0.95. Okay, this is one ratio I've taken. Okay, this is one ratio which I've considered. So here they have got iron as 0.95 and oxygen is 1 here. Okay, so this is the ratio of iron. You can see here the number of iron cation is less than compared to the anion. Okay, so they are not equal. We are supposed to get 1:1 ratio, but what we have got is 0.9:1 ratio. So you can see here there is less number of cations than compared to the anion. Okay, so that means here this cation and the anion ratio are not equal to whatever we have expected from the chemical formula. Then that defect will be called as stoichiometric defect. Either you will find some of the cations will be large, like more in number. Either you find cations are larger in number, or you will find the anions are larger in number. That's it. Okay, any one problem will be there, but they will not give you the exact ratio. Whatever you are expecting from the chemical formula, same ratio we are not able to get. Okay, that defect will be called as non-stoichiometric defect. So in that you have like, and at the end, remember one point, whatever defect is, finally the electrical neutrality is there, no, that will be maintained, okay, that doesn't get disturbed. So how many positive charges are there, that will be satisfied the negative charges, okay. Either it may be in the form of electrons, somehow that electrical neutrality will be maintained. Maybe that anion might not be present, but somehow the electrons will be present, which will nullify the positive charges. Okay, so that you will understand when you see the defects, so you will be able to understand how they get satisfied and how the electrical neutrality is maintained. Some or the other rearrangement will take place to maintain the whole crystal will be neutral. Okay, they will neither carry a positive charge, neither they will carry a negative charge. And again, this non-stoichiometric defect, as you have seen, there are of two kinds. Okay, one is metal excess defect and the other one is metal deficiency. Either metal are large in number or you will find metals are less in number compared to the anion. Okay, so we have two kinds in this non-stoichiometric defect. So let me go for the first one there. Metal excess defect. Again, this metal excess defect is also further classified. You can see here metal excess defect. Further subdivision is metal excess defect due to anionic vacancy, and the other one we are having metal excess defect due to extra cation at the interstitial site. Okay, so again these are further divided into two. So we will see metal excess defect due to anionic vacancy, how it is created. So you can see here metal will be large in number, this defect. Okay, and let's see how it is. So I've taken now here example of sodium chloride. So when sodium chloride crystals, when they were heated with sodium vapors, okay, means pure metal. You're just taking metal and you're passing this metal vapors onto this sodium chloride crystal. Okay, so that time what happens is, when this is being passed to this sodium chloride, this chlorine atom over here is there, no? That chlorine atom which is present on this side will try to combine with the sodium, okay, because sodium is a metal here and this chloride ions which are there, they are non-metals, okay. So it's obvious that this chloride ion can get attracted towards this sodium, but can they directly form a bond here? Can this Cl minus combine with Na? It can't combine with Na. What should happen is they should be in the Na plus form. See, if one negative ion has to combine with the opposite ion, that should be with the positive charge. No, I should be having Na plus. Now here they are directly passing the metals. Okay, so this is in the metallic state. So first thing what should happen is they should ionize themselves. Okay, they should get converted in the form of ions. Once they get converted in the form of ions, then immediately this chloride ion will go and get attracted towards the Na plus ion to form a bond. Okay, so see now what happens when sodium vapors are passed. So I said this chloride ion will try to form a bond with this sodium. So first what should happen? This sodium ion should undergo ionization. So Na plus, Na will break down to Na plus and plus one electron will be given out. Okay. So when this Na plus is being formed, immediately this Cl minus ion will go and form a bond and they go out in the form of NaCl. Okay, so if this Cl has gone out, then this place will be vacant, correct? No, so this place will be satisfied by whom? This place is because of the anionic vacancy, correct? No, because one anion has gone out. So now here, overall crystal, if you see, the positive charge will be more than compared to the negative. But I told you, finally the crystal will be neutral. So to maintain that electrical neutrality, no, so what happens is this electron which has come out during the ionization, that will go and occupy that Cl minus site. Okay, the anionic site will be occupied by that electron. Okay, so this defect is what we call as metal excess defect, because you will see metals are extra compared to the negative ions. Okay, but then overall charge will remain same. Electrical neutrality will be maintained. Okay, how many Na plus are there? How many positive charges are there? So many negative charges also are there. Either you will not have the anion, but electron has come here, no? So that electrons will satisfy the charge. Okay, so this now here, that electron has come over here. Now what this electron does is, actually, if you know NaCl, you know the color of NaCl, how it is, no? What is the color of NaCl? Sodium chloride crystal, the table salt which you eat, no? What is the color of sodium chloride? Yeah, white. White, or even we call it as colorless, correct, no? It's white in color. But now see here, this electron has come, no? When electron has come over here, due to this presence of electron, the color of sodium chloride, okay, see, it will be like this. This is usually the color of the sodium chloride, white color. You can see here, the first picture I have shown. Okay. Now, due to the presence of this electron, it will get converted to yellow color. Now, why this has happened over here, you see. Okay, and this I have labeled as F center. I will tell you why it is called as F center. This electron which is present over here, electron can absorb certain amount of energy, and you know they can go to the higher state, excited state. And when they come back to the ground state, they emit certain amount of energy, which you are able to see in the form of colors. Okay, this I have explained even in the S block. If you remember, when we were doing last year, alkali metals, they impart certain colors. Okay, flame test, if you remember. Okay, metals were imparting certain colors. So how were they imparting the colors? Because the electrons which are present, okay, in the ground state, if they absorb certain amount of energy, they will take certain amount of energy, and then they go to the excited state. Okay, and when they come back, you know that they emit certain amount of energy. That is what is seen in the form of color. So same thing happens with the sodium chloride crystals which has been acquired with this electron. Because of the presence of this electron which is here, they go to that state and then emit the color. Okay, so it is called as F center. Okay, F center, actually it is a German word. According to F, that full form of F is Farben-Center. Okay, Farben-Center means color center. Okay, Farben-Center or color center. So it is named as F center. Okay, so if they ask you what is F center is nothing but where the anionic site is there. No, this anionic site which you have seen, initially there was a chlorine. So now it has been occupied by the unpaired electron. One electron has come and sat over here. So this center itself is called as F center. Okay, if you want, I will repeat once again. Say, listen properly whatever I said, the whole concept. Okay, here itself I am going to explain now here. So what I said is how this defect has been created, metal excess defect. When you have the sodium chloride crystal and when they are heated with sodium vapors, okay, this sodium is in the metallic state now. Okay, when you heat them, obviously they will get certain amount of energy, no? So then that time what happens over here, they will undergo ionization. Okay, so Na will break down to Na plus and one electron will be given out. Okay, so now this Na plus is a positive ion, and this side, okay, where the electron is sitting, before that, you know, there is a chloride ion. Okay, before that there was a chloride ion which was present. So this chloride ion tries to combine with the sodium ion. Okay, so if they have to combine, they should be in the Na plus form. So now once they are in the Na plus form, this chlorine ion, okay, Cl minus ion will combine with them and they go out in the form of NaCl. So this place will be left vacant. Okay, this place which is created over here, it will be left vacant. Okay, and that is the site which was initially is the anionic site. Okay, this sodium site is a cationic site. Now this anionic site, the negative site, will be occupied by this negative electron. Okay, they will come and sit here. Now since electron has come and sat here, so it is called as F center. Because of this electron, there will be change in the color in the crystals. Okay, initially the crystal is actually white. Because of the presence of this electron, it has changed into yellow color. Okay, so that is because of excitation of this electron. When they go to the higher state and come back, they emit certain radiation, which is seen in the form of color. So the sodium chloride is found to have yellow color. So if they are giving you yellow color, that means there is electron, and this one chloride ion is less in that particular lattice. Okay, so if you take different crystal, no students, they will impart different color. Like if you take now potassium chloride, KCl, and heat it with potassium vapors, then you will see that the whole KCl is also colorless, okay, white in color. But if you heat them with that potassium vapors, and finally if the electron come and sit in the anionic site, you will see that their color will be violet. Okay, they are violet in color. Okay, a good question. See here, one question is, change of color can happen only with presence of one electron or many electron. Okay, one electron also can give you, then the change will be little less. Okay, it will be like light. But if you have many electrons doing that, then the intensity will increase, correct, no? Yeah, so it can happen with one electron and even many electron. So here in the crystal, many sites, anionic site will be occupied by the electron. Okay, so here I was telling for sodium, it's yellow in color, but if you take potassium chloride crystal and do the same thing, then you will see that the whole crystal appears to be violet in color. Okay, and then even lithium chloride, they say it appears to be pink in color finally. Okay, so if they are showing this color change, that means there was some defect which has taken place. Okay, and that defect is because of presence of this electron. Okay, so that is all about metal excess defect. For you, what is very important is this F center. Okay, they can ask you what is F center. So remember, F center is if the anionic site is occupied by this unpaired electron, then that center is called as F center. Okay, why that F name has come? Because it's a German word where they give it for color. Okay, since because of this presence of electron, you get a color for the crystal, so it is called as F center. Okay, now I'll go for the next one, the second category in this same metal excess defect, and that metal excess defect is due to presence of extra cation in the interstitial site. Okay, so here you see what happens. Example, we are taking zinc oxide. Okay, zinc oxide is taken as the example. So if you see the zinc oxide lattice, you will find zinc ion is there, then you have oxygen ion, like alternate. Okay, like how I've shown you for sodium chloride, like that only these are also arranged. Okay, you can see alternate zinc ion and oxygen ions are present. Now when you heat this zinc oxide, suppose if it is heated, then zinc oxide no will break down, because they will absorb that energy and they will break down. We have zinc oxide made up of zinc and oxygen, no, these are the two elements they are made up of. So when they break down, they will break down in the form of zinc ion. Okay, and then oxygen will go out in the form of a gas. Okay, this will escape out in the form of gas because oxygen gas is more stable. So when you heat this particular crystal, oxygen will escape out. Remaining is what? 2 electron. And that 2 electron is from the oxygen itself. You can see here oxygen has gone out in the form of gas. Okay, so those 2 electrons will be given out. This is the valency, no, Zn2 plus, and then you have O2 minus. So oxygen has just gone out in the form of gas. That means these 2 electrons will be still remaining. So this Zn2 plus and these 2 electrons are there, no, that will be remaining in the lattice. Okay, so what happens is when oxygen has gone out, these 2 electrons will shift themselves in one of the interstitial site. Okay, so you can see 2 electrons shift themselves to one of the interstitial site, and this cation also will shift themselves to one of the interstitial site. So due to this, what happens is the color will be important. Actually, again, zinc oxide is white in color. the zinc oxide is white in color, but if you heat them at higher temperature, they lose oxygen molecule, and then they give you this cation plus 2 electrons. Okay, so to maintain that electrical neutrality, this cation will shift towards the interstitial site, and the electron also shift themselves to interstitial site. So now you can see there is presence of electron. So due to presence of these electron, instead of showing white color, now they will start showing yellow color. Okay, the whole crystal turns out to be yellow in color. That is again because of these electrons. Okay, these electrons will move from the ground state to excited state and impart the color. Okay, so you can see here, comparing the ratio of zinc and the oxygen, who will be more in number now? Zinc ions will be more in number, no, than compared to the oxygen. You can understand from this, when you are heating, oxygen is escaping out. Okay, who is remaining is only the zinc cation. So you can see zinc cations will be larger in number. So overall you can write the formula like this: Zn, okay, it's more than 1, so more 1 plus x, because that has to be calculated. When you see exactly how many zinc are remaining, then you will understand what will be the x value, okay, in the particular crystal. So that depends on temperature also, how much temperature you have applied. So we just randomly write them as x. So zinc ion will be more. So we have written 1 plus x plus 1 oxygen. Okay. I believe it is clear what is metal excess defect due to extra cation. So when you heat zinc oxide, they break down into zinc ion, oxygen and electrons. Okay, oxygen being a gas escapes out. What remains is zinc and the electron. Okay, so they shift themselves, because of their smaller size, they shift themselves into the interstitial site. And originally zinc oxide being white in color, now they show yellow color. Okay, that's because of presence of these unpaired electron. Okay, so if you count the ratio now, you will find metal is more in number, zinc ions are more than compared to the oxygen. Okay, so it is called as metal excess defect due to extra cation at interstitial site. Okay. Now last one remaining, students, the next one what we are having, metal deficiency defect. Okay, the second part of non-stoichiometric defect. Metal deficiency, that means metal are less in number here, and this defect is usually seen in transition elements. Okay, because transition elements, they have variable valency, different oxidation state they will have. Like now if you talk about alkali metals or S group element, they have only one valency, correct? No, sodium will have Na plus, and then the second group will have 2 plus. But if you talk about transition element, no, they have variable valencies. Okay, example is iron itself. Iron, if you are familiar, no, because you have learned in your high school also, you have two oxidation state for iron. One is Fe2 plus and the other one is Fe3 plus, correct? No, Fe2 plus state and Fe3 plus state. Fe2 plus is called as ferrous and Fe3 plus is called as ferric. Okay, so these are the two different oxidation state which is exhibited by iron. So now when iron oxide is being formed in this defect, we are discussing about this defect. If iron oxide is being prepared, FeO, okay, when they are prepared, now suppose it happens that one ion has gone out from the lattice. Okay, imagine that one ion has escaped out in the form of Fe. If this has gone out from the lattice, then you have to maintain the electrical neutrality. No, finally, whatever happens, the electrical neutrality has to be maintained. Okay, so what happens is some of the cations which are there, no, they acquire these cations which are there, they will acquire higher oxidation state, higher oxidation state. Okay, to maintain the electrical neutrality, they will acquire higher oxidation state. So I am telling you this, if one Fe ion has gone out from the lattice. Okay, so now charge, how many charge has become less? You see, 2 positive charge has become less. So that has to be nullified, correct? No, that 2 positive ion charge has to be nullified. So what happens is this Fe2 plus will convert themselves into Fe3 plus. Okay, then you will get one extra charge there, and this another Fe2 plus will convert themselves into Fe3 plus. Okay, to nullify this 2 positive charge. Okay, able to understand this, whatever I said? See, I will repeat once again. When iron oxide crystals are prepared, FeO, okay, Imagine if one ion has gone missing from the lattice. Okay, if one Fe2 plus has gone missing from this lattice, then overall charge of this crystal, okay, it will have more oxygen, no, than compared to iron. 2 Fe2 plus charge will be less, 2 positive charge will be less. So that 2 positive charge has to be satisfied. Okay, so what this Fe2 plus ion does is, the other neighboring Fe2 plus ions are there, no, they will try to satisfy this Fe2 plus. Okay, how they can satisfy that Fe2 plus? By giving one electron. So if they are giving one electron, they will get converted themselves into Fe3 plus. Correct, no? Even this one, Fe2 plus, will get converted themselves into Fe3 plus. Then you will get 2 electrons. Okay, so those 2 electrons will satisfy the charge of this. Okay, and this Fe2 plus which has gone out, it will go out in the form of Fe. Remember, it will go out in the form of Fe by taking these 2 electrons. Okay, so when this happens, no, students, if I have to tell you in terms of charge, see now how many Fe2 plus will make Fe3 plus? How many Fe2 plus if I take, I will get charge equal to Fe3 plus. You can see here Fe2 plus, if I have, or you can understand by LCM, if you have 1 by 2 and 1 by 3, how will you take the LCM and make it equal? You should multiply this number by 3, 2 should be multiplied by 3 and 3 should be multiplied by 2, correct, no? So if you have 3 Fe2 plus, that will become equal to 2 Fe3 plus. So here if 3 Fe2 plus are taken together, that will have charge equal to 2 Fe3 plus. Okay, so that is what is happening here. I told you this is one way I can tell you. Okay, or if you remove 3 Fe2 plus, you can put 2 Fe3 plus in that place. But one side will be remaining as a vacant site. Okay, one site will be remain empty. A void will be created over here. So in this case, you can see there will be more number of oxygen ion and then there will be less number of iron atoms. You can see here iron atom has become less and one void has been created. So overall when you take the ratio, you will get as Fe 0.952 oxygen. Okay, like when they estimate the ratio, they have got iron atoms being less than compared to the oxygen atom. This can even vary. Okay, this number can vary. That value can be from 0.93 to 0.96. Okay, that depends how many conversion has taken place and how many Fe atoms have gone out from the lattice. Okay, so this is about metal deficiency defect.